year. The key question with Larry Bird, they were in a hard cap in the NBA. And when you look at this and bringing it back home, Adam Silver, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, Breanna Stewart, who are the superstars of the WNBA, but especially for Caitlin because she has such brand marketing deals, probably averaging $30 to $50 million a year. The Bird rights gives a team an opportunity to re-sign its best player and not be restricted by the cap.
Larry Bird never says anything unless he truly wants to. The three-time NBA champion, the Hall of Famer, the man whose steely gaze once quieted crowds, and the man who turned trash and conversation into art. Bird, a living legend who almost ever shows his face, much less talks in public, has become all but a ghost in a time of non-stop criticism. But in a single, astonishing instant, everything changed. Because 2 minutes ago, on live television, Larry Bird approached Caitlin Clark, took the microphone from her, and said something that rocked the sports world. And Caitlin Clark's response: "Quick favor before we go on. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content." It may surprise you to learn that almost 83% of viewers have not yet subscribed. Even though it only takes a second and is free, it means the world to us. Have you already subscribed? Fantastic. I sincerely appreciate your help. Returning to the video now.
And put an understanding out, because with Caitlin and what the players and the collective bargaining agreement are negotiating, folks, I'm wondering if it's the best fit for the top players of the WNBA. CBA agreements, the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. They're going to have an intense meeting for All-Star Weekend. And I wanted to bring this up for Caitlin Clark and the Larry Bird rights rule. And we'll start from a revenue perspective as Caitlin leads the league in revenue. Where am I going with this? It wouldn't make sense to have a contract for Caitlin Clark.
To believe it, you have to see it. Let's go back in time. The interview was meant to be a standard one. With 28 points, 10 assists, and a dagger three-pointer that had the home fans in a frenzy, Clark had just guided the Indiana Fever to a tough comeback victory. Everything appeared normal when the post-game interviewer complimented her leadership and inquired about her rapport with teammates. But then the crowd began to yell louder than it had throughout the whole evening. Larry Bird, the legendary Indiana star whose name is woven into the fabric of basketball history, came from the tunnel. With his gaze fixed on Caitlin Clark, he walked directly toward the broadcast table. She didn't notice at first. As always, she was cordial, grinning, and responding to inquiries. However, the interviewer cut off mid-sentence. The cameras made a wide cut. Everyone in the crowd stood up. Caitlin turned to look at him. She froze. No, in amazement rather than terror. A man who never makes public appearances, Larry Bird was approaching her directly. The atmosphere shifted. Everybody sensed it. The events that followed weren't planned or practiced. It was unprocessed. It was genuine. Larry approached, carefully removed the microphone from Clark's grasp, and turned to face the camera. His next words will be discussed for years to come. "I've been watching for a long time," he added in a deep, composed voice. "And this is unlike anything I've ever seen. She is authentic. I haven't seen a tougher player since the 1980s. Furthermore, I refuse to remain silent while others attempt to undermine her." Gasping. After a moment of complete silence, the audience erupted. Bird wasn't merely praising her performance. He was making a warning, a defense, and a statement. He was entering the flames. Not for himself, but for Caitlin Clark, the rookie who has consistently shown up to games despite being jeered, tacked, questioned, and written off. In response, Clark covered her face. She shook her head, her lips quivered, and then Caitlin Clark broke down in tears for the first time on live television. It wasn't because she was weak or overwhelmed, but rather because she had just been thrown the torch by someone who understood the weight of excellence and who had defined Indiana basketball. Bird wasn't finished. He said, "She doesn't need protection. She certainly merits respect, though. You're not watching the game if you are unable to provide her with that. You're observing your own fears." Boom. Just vintage, no corporate spin or sanitized language cutting, unscripted and unambiguous is Larry Bird. He returned the microphone to Clark. She dabbed at her eyes. Stunned, the interviewer just moved aside. And in that instant, the old and the modern merged in a way that seemed bigger than basketball, without a script, a logo, or a marketing pitch. Because this is the reality. No rookie in WNBA history has under as much pressure as Caitlin Clark. Every move she made was scrutinized as soon as she set foot on the court. Every foul she committed was disregarded, and every word was repeated. She made headlines with every foul while being pulled through the chaos of the league's past. She came to represent the league's future she never broke, though Larry Bird noticed that he also appreciated it. In contrast to many in the media, Bird understands what it's like to be despised for being exceptional, to use jumpers to quiet crowds and enter unfriendly arenas, to have every word you say distorted. Your self-assurance was misinterpreted as conceit. He saw more than just a star in Caitlin. A basketball soul who plays to win, speaks her mind, and refuses to play the game correctly in order to appease others struck him as a kindred spirit. Bird's public endorsement was more than sentimental. It was calculated. Because this was more than a sign of appreciation. It was a move of power. In a time when a lot of athletes are controlled, screened, and cleaned, being genuine has made Clark stand out. She is now a target because of her genuineness. Some have referred to her as overrated. She's stealing the show, I was told. Depending on who is speaking, they are accused of being too loud, too privileged, too white, or too arrogant. But none of that matters to Bird. Hoopers are important to him. Caitlin Clark is also a hooper. Bird's message was unambiguous. She is a part of it. She is among us. You don't understand it if you don't see it. Social media went crazy following the episode. In a matter of minutes, Larry and Caitlin were popular. NBA players from the past spoke up. Legends expressed their support via tweets. Birds don't speak for influence. One post was read, "She is the truth if that is what he said." Another, "The WNBA is maturing at this point." Even those who had previously attacked Clark hesitated. Because you have to stop talking and pay attention when Larry Legend talks. The league reacted nearly right away. The WNBA shared a complete footage of the event on all platforms in a matter of hours. No edits or trims. It had received more than 20 million views by morning. Sponsors got in touch. The Fever's next 5 home games were all sold out. An exclusive Legend X-Rookie crossover ad was revealed by Nike. In only 4 minutes, a limited edition jersey with Bird's signature and Clark's number sold out online. More significantly, though, the tone shifted. Sniping by pundits ceased. Nitpicking by analysts ceased. Bird had made it unfashionable to despise her, so even the sharpest critics of Clark relented. There was no need for Caitlin Clark to clap back. For her, Larry Bird did it. And the weight of decades was in his words. Since this was more than a sound bite, it was a proclamation, a moment of truth, and a change in direction. Bird expressed what millions of people were thinking when he stood up. Allow the child to play. Let her mature and quit behaving as if being wonderful is a crime. For the remainder of the game, Clark appeared lighter and more liberated. She smiled again. She scored 14 points in the fourth quarter alone while playing with passion and excitement. Reporters questioned her about Bird's astonishment in the locker room. "I didn't expect it," she replied, her voice trembling. "But if Larry Bird thinks I belong, then I'm done doubting myself." That line, worthy of a tattoo. Caitlin Clark is shattering barriers in addition to records. She is not requesting preferential treatment. She is requesting equity. And at last, she received the respect she deserved from someone with the authority to stop the world and pay attention. Though it wasn't only Larry Bird protecting a young player, it will go down in sports history as one of the most potent cross-generational handoffs ever witnessed. It was Larry Bird standing up for the game's future. Additionally, Caitlin Clark is using both hands to carry it forward. And with that, we've reached the end of a story that basketball fans will be talking about for years to come. Think about what we've witnessed here today. Not just a viral moment. Not just a headline. Not just another post-game interview that briefly captured the internet's attention before fading away. What happened was something far bigger than that. Moments like these don't happen often. In today's world, we're surrounded by constant opinions. Every game is analyzed. Every mistake is magnified. Every athlete is judged before they even have a chance to prove themselves. Social media moves at lightning speed, and sometimes the loudest voices aren't the wisest voices. But every once in a while, someone steps forward whose words carry real weight. Someone whose accomplishments have already stood the test of time. Someone who doesn't need attention because they've already earned respect from generations of fans. That person is Larry Bird. And that's why this moment hit differently. Larry Bird could have stayed silent. He could have watched from afar like so many others. He could have chosen not to get involved. After all, he has nothing left to prove. His legacy is secure. His place in basketball history is untouchable. Yet when he saw what was happening, when he saw the pressure, criticism, and expectations being placed on Caitlin Clark, he decided to speak. And when Larry Bird speaks, people listen. Not because he's loud. Not because he's controversial, but because he's authentic. Because every word carries decades of experience. Because he understands what greatness looks like. And because he knows exactly how difficult it is to perform when the entire world is watching. That's what made this moment unforgettable. It wasn't just an NBA legend complimenting a young star. It was one competitor recognizing another. One generation acknowledging the next. One basketball icon looking at the future of the game and saying, yes, she belongs. For Caitlin Clark, that kind of validation means more than any statistic ever could. Let's be honest for a moment, the journey hasn't been easy from the second she entered professional basketball. The spotlight followed her everywhere. Every arena became packed. Every game became national news. Every move she made generated discussion. Some celebrated her, others criticized her, some admired her confidence, others questioned it. No matter what she did, people had something to say. And through all of it, she kept showing up. She kept competing. She kept fighting. She kept improving. She kept believing. That's what champions do. Great players don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for universal approval. They don't wait until everyone supports them. They keep moving forward even when the odds seem stacked against them. And that's exactly what Caitlin Clark has done. Every challenge became motivation. Every criticism became fuel. Every setback became another opportunity to grow stronger. That's why fans connect with her story. Because it's not just about basketball. It's about perseverance. It's about resilience. It's about refusing to quit when things get difficult. And those lessons extend far beyond sports. Millions of people watching around the world can relate to that struggle. Maybe you've faced criticism. Maybe you've been underestimated. Maybe you've worked hard while others doubted you. Maybe you felt like you had to prove yourself over and over again. If so, then you understand why this story resonates with so many people. Because at its core, this isn't just Caitlin Clark's story. It's the story of anyone who has ever been told they weren't good enough. Anyone who has ever been overlooked. Anyone who has ever had to fight for respect. And that's why Larry Bird's words mattered. His message wasn't just directed at one player. It was a reminder to everyone watching. A reminder that true talent eventually rises. A reminder that hard work still matters. A reminder that greatness doesn't need permission. History has shown us this time and time again. The greatest athletes are rarely embraced immediately. They're questioned. They're challenged. They're tested. And only later do people fully appreciate what they were witnessing. We've seen it happen throughout sports history. Legends often face resistance before they receive recognition. The path to greatness has never been easy. And it never will be. But that's what makes the journey meaningful. Because when success finally arrives, it means something. When respect is earned rather than given, it carries more value. And when a legend acknowledges your potential, it becomes a moment that lasts forever. As we look ahead, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Caitlin Clark's story is only beginning. There are more games to play, more records to chase, more challenges to overcome, more milestones to achieve. The chapters that lie ahead may be even more exciting than everything we've seen so far. The future of women's basketball has never looked brighter. New fans are discovering the sport every day. Attendance numbers continue to grow. Television audiences continue to expand. Young athletes across the country are finding inspiration in players like Caitlin Clark. And that's exactly how sports evolve. One generation inspires the next. One dream creates another. One player changes the landscape forever. Whether you're a fan of Caitlin Clark or not, it's impossible to deny the impact she's having on the game. She's bringing attention. She's creating excitement. She's inspiring conversations. And most importantly, she's helping elevate the sport to new heights. That's a legacy that extends far beyond points, assists, or championships. It's a legacy measured by influence. A legacy measured by inspiration. A legacy measured by the doors opened for future generations. And perhaps that's what Larry Bird recognized more than anything else. Not just a talented player. Not just a future star. But someone capable of changing the game itself. Someone capable of inspiring millions. Someone capable of leaving a lasting mark on basketball history. The truth is, legends recognize things before everyone else does. They see the qualities that statistics can't measure. They see the work ethic, the determination, the competitive fire, the willingness to sacrifice, the hunger to improve, the refusal to back down. Those qualities separate good players from great players, and great players from legends. So as this incredible story continues to unfold, one question remains: what comes next? How many records will fall? How many milestones will be reached? How many unforgettable moments are still waiting to happen? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the basketball world will be watching. And after what we've witnessed here, the excitement surrounding Caitlin Clark's future has reached an entirely new level. If you enjoyed this video and want more inspiring stories, breaking news, exclusive updates, and unforgettable moments from the world of basketball, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Share this video with fellow basketball fans. Join the conversation in the comments. And tell us your thoughts. Was this one of the most powerful moments we've seen in sports this year? Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being part of this growing community. And remember this: great players win games. Special players inspire generations. But legends do something even greater.